Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first parallel session in room G. My name is Dion and I'm from Institute Technology Bandung, and I'll be your moderator for today's session. And today we have 4 presenters from Pak Catur Sugiyanto from UGM, Pak Ahmad from UGM, Pak Martin from UGM, and Miss Visi Handa Lucia from UIN Mataram. So from the schedule that I have, we will have 2 hours of a session, and each speaker will have 15 minutes to present their study. And after that, about 12 minutes of question and answers. And I think, and I hope we will have a fruitful discussion together in this room. So without further ado, I would like to invite Pak Catur Sugiyanto for the first presentation. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you, Pak Adiwan. Would you make me as a co-host so that I can share my screen? Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, let me start my presentation by thanks to IRSA for providing research funding for this research. This is a collaborative research. Actually, I have my student Dion, Saputra, Arbi, and also Ahmad, Syahrul, Fauzi helped me to do the survey and also do some analysis. So basically, the topic is the productivity of urban farming and its role in supporting food security during pandemic COVID-19 in the city of Yogyakarta. Here is the outline. I will start with introduction, the role of the government intervention, the purpose of research, methodology, urban farming in the city of Yogyakarta, and last, the result. Okay. So when we talk about urban farming, there are many definitions, but I will pick one of them. UF, urban farming, is basically an industrial activity that produces, processes, and also market food to meet the needs of people who live in the urban areas by utilizing land and waters that they own through the application of intensive methods and utilizing natural resources and urban waste to produce agricultural and livestock products. And why it is important? Because we are in the city, we have a growing population, and special to Jogja, the city of Jogja is only 40 to 50 hectares farmland. You know, the sawah, the padi sawah. It's only 1.25%. So there's a concern about the role of the Office of Agriculture because, you know, the size of the land is very limited. That's why they, you know, reorientate the activities into what they call urban farming, so farming in the urban area. And it turned out that during the pandemic, when the price of food is going up, and there's because of the lockdown, there is a limit of supply in the food in the city, then the importance of urban farming is materialized. So what the city office do? Well, basically they provide extensionists. They have farmers in the urban area to give a training, provide seeds, and also planting materials, such that the people in the city can, you know, implement planting vegetables like in the picture, and also growing the catfish, like the picture with the blue tails over here. Okay. So the nice thing is that there is a close relationship and collaboration between the city of Jogja and the province. So the province support the city by providing, funding and also other support. So that last year, for example, the city was given like 600 million rupiah for the funding for these activities, and the city can, focus on the carbohydrate, protein, and also vegetable production. The province itself managed 4 areas, while the city at that time managed 3 areas. What we mean by areas is like suburban and also a group of farmers. See, for example, in this picture, the province names the program as a Lumbung Mataram. It's Lumbung's like storage, so food storage, Mataram. And the city has the Kampung Sayur, the Village of Vegetables program. So that these two level of government has collaborative nicely. So this research basically asks the question whether this intervention by this government are effective. Because we already have so many programs. For example, there's a adult farmer group and also women's farmer group in the city. And there is a field extension officer in the city. And there's also cultivation of catfish in the buckets, budidaya ikan dalam ember in the buckets. And also there are many things that basically try to, support the urban farming activities. And from the literature, we learned that we know that urban farming is beneficial to people, either in the urban area by Surya in 2020, Anggreni 2015, and so there are couples others. And if we look at other countries in Uganda, in China, and also the US, we learned that urban farming is really beneficial to people. And because the main issue is whether these policies are effective, we have two methods to analyze. The first one is we calculate the productivity, very basic or standard measurement of productivity by using the total factor productivity. And then we calculate the total revenue of the farming, and see whether or how much this farming contributes to the family's income. So this is the picture of the city of Yogyakarta. We have 14 districts, and the farming actually spread out across the city. So on the picture on the right, these are the places where we can find the urban farming, especially the farmer groups. We have 180 farmer groups, and based on the data from the Office of Agriculture in the city, there are around 3,000 farmers basically in the food one, spread out across the sub-region. So the way we select sample in this research, we try to do a proportional sampling. So every sub-district get some targeted farmers. And then we do convenient sampling within the sub-region or kecamatan. So we found that there are many things that farmers do. They are growing flowers, vegetables, they're keeping fish. Most of them are catfish, tilapia, and also goldfish. And they also have livestock. They have chickens, rabbits, and also pigeons. So the idea is simple to calculate the productivity, but we have challenge because of the variety of urban farming activities. See, for example, the first one is how to measure output. Okay, because there are many types of output here. The farming in the backyard, for example, by using the pots, the plastic bag and so on. And just to give you a glance about the activities. So sometimes they also plan along the alley on the small road within the village. Okay. So there we got a problem or the second challenge, which is how to measure the land use. Okay, in the usual agriculture, we use the size of the land, right? But now if we have a pot, we have plastic bag and so on, then we have to work hard to measure the the land that you use. Thanks to our research assistant, they work hard with the extensionists. So we try to measure the surface of the pot and the surface of the plastic bag in order to find the area that land use. Okay, so meeting the usual measurement of productivity. And then sometimes the farmers use the abundant space, usually the space that even the local village doesn't know who own this land, okay, because they are far away. But usually they are managed by a farmer group. Okay. And I mentioned that there are many types of urban farming activities. This is the kind of activities that people, growing catfish in a bucket like this. We call it lele cendol, like cendol, the traditional food. Because there are so many catfish in the bucket, so it's like that juicy. Okay. So there are vegetables, poultry, also fish. Sometimes the fish is in the bucket like this, and then they put vegetables above the bucket within the plastic, glass plastic like this. So see how variety of the activity that we have in the city. And the third challenge we found is how to measure labor, because most of them, the activity are done by the mother, and they use a spare time during the afternoon. So we asked what time, and then they mentioned that, well, usually they spend the time for the farming after Asar prayer. So it's about 3:30 to 5:30 in the afternoon. And the next input that I should also mention that there are couples, family who, as a worker from outside the family. So not only the family member to the farming, but also some worker from outside. And then the next challenge is how to measure capita. I can mention that some farmers use nets like this, and then they use plastic and so on. So it's really challenging, but we ask them how much to buy in these facilities, then we can somehow estimate the value of the capita. And also thanks to the extensionists, because they come to help the farmers to taking care of the farming. Okay. Again, see, sometimes they use a plastic bag from cooking oil to plant as a planting media. So the next challenge is we see there are many types of technology, whether they use hydroponic and the fish pond below the hydroponic. They use both, they use also wall plan and so on. So it's very efficient way of using the space, but also there are variety of technology that they use.
Disambung kembali, Bapak dan Ibu mohon bersabar.
Okay, hello.
Ini untuk materi.
Hello. Okay. Let me continue then. Sorry, there is someone. Okay. So next, the complication is on the technology. After we finish, identifying the types of crops, the type of livestock, and also the types of fruits that the farmers have, we identify the amount of time that they allocate. See, I mentioned that usually after Asar prayer to Maghrib prayer. And then that's why we found that the housewife usually spend about 2 hours, and the family members, husband or sometimes children, spend about 1 hour. And there are 7 households who ask help from the others. They spend about 2.9 hours a day, and it costs them like about 66.7 thousand rupiah per day. Okay, so we managed to calculate the productivity, and we are happy with that. On the average, in total, the productivity is like 1.77. So it's above 1, so it's effective. And the most effective is in the fish production, and also the vegetable production. So next, we try to look at the income. So we see how people market the products. They use their own consumption, they use by relative, they sell in communities, and so on. So we managed to calculate the how many harvests in months, and then how much. Sometimes the measurement is different. So with that, we can calculate the income. Okay, so I will have 2 other slides to show the source of income, mostly from the flower. So flowers is selling flowers, and then vegetables, fish, and sort of the livestock. In this case, it's the eggs. Okay. So they can make about 2,000, so 2 million per month, which is good deal for the mothers. So we conclude that the mother has really a great deal of additional income from urban farming here. So in conclude, here we underline that in the urban farming contribute to the providing vegetables, fish, flowers, and also protein to the neighbors and also the household, of course. And then, yes, we have some additional income. The mother is become more active in the economy, and then they can help some people who need a job, and also help during the pandemic. Okay, thank you, Pak Dion, for giving me the first chance. I return the stage to you.
Okay, thank you, Pak Catur, for the interesting presentation. So we have 12 minutes of discussion. So I would like to invite participants if they have any questions or willing to discuss with Pak Catur. So while we wait for maybe questions from the participants, I would like to ask Pak Catur about a few things, because I think your research is very interesting. So first, I would like to ask about the time allocation that you show us. In general, women spend about 2 hours per day for urban farming. Could you elaborate what kind of activities that they do in these 2 hours? Because I see that urban farming is very limited space, so maybe quite different with conventional farm where the space is very large, so maybe they need hours to work on. But in urban urban farming, the space is very limited. So maybe you can elaborate what do they do within that 2 hours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pak Diwan. Yes, well, sometimes we cannot judge with the time because, you know, some mother, this is a very labor-intensive activities actually, because, you know, sometimes they go to the front side of the house and they do the rear side of the house. They do watering, they do, you know, what do you call, you know, taking care of the soil so that it's not become hard. Okay, so cleaning the not necessary plantation and so on. So there are many activities as well. And when they come to you know, groups activities, you know, sometimes time for mingling with others is more important than working by themselves, right? So that's the characteristics of you know, these activities as well. Okay, because they live close to each other, you know, they share the information, they share the idea and the technology that they have. Sometimes they share the product. Okay, that's why when we talk about how much they sell the output, sometimes they say, no, we don't sell it, our vegetables, just give to our neighbors. And also the exchange with others as well. So that's the kind of relationship that we have, we observe in the urban farming here. So it's no wonder that they spend a lot of time. Okay, they do everything by themselves. It's very labor intensive. And if you look at the technology, they don't have like automatic technology. They use a pipe water, a well water, and then, you know, use a pail to water the plants. So it takes some time to do the job. Okay. Thank you, Pak Adiwan.
Yes, thank you for the explanation, Pak. Very interesting. So I'd like to invite again participants if there are any questions or discussion that they want to discuss with Catur. So I think there's no more question, Pak Catur. Perhaps I would like to ask the committee, should or could we proceed with the second presenter maybe?
Yeah, I think we can proceed if there is no other question.
Yep. Okay. Thank you very much, Pak Catur, for your presentation. And now I would like to invite our second speaker from UGM also, Pak Ahmad Syahrul Fauzi.
Well, actually, Ahmad cannot come, so I will take his place to present
Okay.
the paper.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, so let me share the screen.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay, wait a second. Is it visible now?
Yes, Pak, it's visible.
Okay. Second. Yeah, screw up. I think I screw up my slide now. Okay. Yeah. thank you again. I'd like to thank to IRSA for giving me opportunity to present our research paper. This is a collaborative research between Ahmad, Syahrul, Fauzi, my student, my graduate student, and myself. The title is here, the effect of women's empowerment in the household dairy farming business on household business youths, case study at the Tegalombo, Pacitan Regency, and East Java. So, this is the outline of my presentation. I will start with the introduction and go through the usual agenda. So let's go to the Tegalombo, Pacitan in East Java. In case you are not familiar, where is Pacitan? So I take you from Jogja, the place where we have a conference now, about 3 hours driving east to East Java. We go along very nice and hilly road along the area in the 3 hours. And then from the city of Pacitan, here we have to drive another hour to get to the Tegalombo, the village of Tegalombo in Pacitan. So why we are interested in these activities? I mean, the milk farming at Kebaharjo, the village of Tegalombo is Kebaharjo. See, because there's a long history of milk farming in Kebaharjo, and then even they involve the Ministry of Agriculture program, and then also the Bank Jatim is Java Bank, and also when the farming is growing, in fact they start procuring calves from outside Pacitan. So that was in 2015. And because of the milk production, they have very good collaboration with the milk collector, the PT Das, which is supplier to the Nestle. So in terms of marketing for the milk, there is a guarantee from PT Das with a very nice pricing. And for this research, we focus on 3 villages in Kebaharjo, in Tahunan, and Tahunan Baru. Okay, so we did the first research back in 2019, funded by Bank BNI. We explored the farming development thanks to Bank BNI, and then now for the last 2 years, I mean last year and this year, and then hopefully next year, the research was funded by PT UPT Dikti. So the focus is actually on the increase of the role of women in the household economy through milk farming, and then we ask whether they can apply zero waste economy. So this we designed the research in line with it. This is the research with the activities, so action research in line to the SDGs number 5 and number 8. Okay. So what we mean by zero waste economy, here we have the farming, the milk farming, and currently the milk are directly sent to PT Das and then go to Nestle. Okay. So we wonder if we can, change the activity, add some activities to the woman, to the wife, so that they can process the milk in order to produce the final product like this, the bottled milk ready to drink, or collecting the waste into biogas or organic fertilizer, so that we can use it more useful instead on only on waste, but only we can produce biofuel, gas, electricity, and also for the organic fertilizer we can use it for the agriculture. The main question is, do women have extra time? Okay, and then do women also have the opportunity? Because if we introduce additional activities without looking at the availability of time, then it will be waste. activities. Okay, and then we learn also from the literature that okay, the livestock production can be an entry point to promote gender equality, which is the fifth SDGs goals. And then we also learn that, in order to increase the household economic security, including household income, increase the status of women in activities, then we can do these livestock activities. So that's what we learn from the literature. And then we look at the production of milk, and we found that East Java is in fact the main milk producer in Indonesia. It contributes to 51% of the total production. And then if we look at the Pacitan in the Tegalombo village, then there's a big potential of livestock business, especially the milk farming, because of the environment, because of the support of the government, so that we have 136 households who farm the farming and the milk activities can really run the business. Okay, so we observe there are 575 dairy cows right now, and the total production is quite high. And see whether going back to the two questions, whether we can add activities to the wife, to the woman, so that they can, increase the value added of the meal, and also, have a better environment by introducing the zero waste economy. Like what we do, we use WELI, the Women Empowerment Agriculture Index, to measure women empowerment in agriculture. So we try to identify whether woman has really an opportunity to manage the business. And then we know that there are many areas that already use WELI to do the analysis. So why not we use that index to measure the women empowerment in Pacitan. So WELI basically, there are several questions here to identify the 6 dimensions, the involvement of women in the production, and the nutrition and the animal safety and so on. So there are 6 dimensions of WELI. And then from 6 dimensions, we have 16 indicators, and it's each indicator the question. So the women were asked to say yes or no related to the activities in order to get the WELI index. Okay, we put a equal weight for the index, so we have 6 dimensions of the index, and there are 16 indicators, so that's for the weights. And then I is identifying whether there is some criteria to ensure that the woman has certain activities. Okay. So and then in order to measure the impact of the woman empowerment, the index on the yield, on the productivity of the farming, we use the 2LS, and we do household milk productivity and household income as the output. So it's served as the dependent variable, and then we use other variables for explaining the productivity, the production. Okay. So we send our students to stay at Tegalombo to do the survey, and then we visited them often because we start doing the research in 2019 basically. So we do interview, we visited them, and then we focus on the female population, the wife. And then if I mention the dairy farming, the production, and also ask the income, and ask a question related to the WELI. Okay. So this is the profile of the dairy farming business. So we have 136 farmers. So we interview all of them in these 4 villages. And so every village has different number of cows, and then also the different income, and also productivity of production. And they work, the farmers work in a group. So we have 10 groups, farmer group, covering the whole 136 farmers. So we interview all of them. Okay. So I would like to underline some characteristic of the farmers. So the women are in the productive age between 21, the maximum was 70. And also they still have some time because they spend average is 5 hours and maximum 8 hours a day for doing the farming. So they still have some time. And then the household head, the father is also in a productive age. And these are the profile of the income that they have. It's quite good. 1.5 million per month is quite good in the village. Okay. But this is only coming from the farming. Okay. Sometimes they have other activities as well. Okay. This is the number of dairy cows per family. Most of them has at least 4 cows in the house, but the starter usually have 1 or 2. Okay. And then they already have been in the business for at least 3 years. The 0.5 here is for those who are really newcomers. Okay. And then thanks to the mother, they also have organization. So they are very active in the organization as well. So this is the kind of the question that we ask. For example, for the dimension of the decision about production, we ask about input into productive decision and also autonomy in the production. From these 2 indicators, we have 70 questions for the productive decision and also 5 questions for the autonomy. So if the family or the wife asks yes of the 6 questions out of the 7, then we score it 1. Okay. So we have 80% of the women say yes. Could score 1 in this indicator, and then 60% got 1 in this indicator, and so on. So this is the profile of the women. So we note that we have above 90%, namely indicator of women's ownership and control of livestock, and indicators of women's control over the working time. So it means that the woman has capability to manage the time and to have some control in the livestock business. Here, there's the ownership and control of livestock asset, with achieving adequacy more than 91%, and also control of our own time, which is more than 95%. Okay. So these are the indicator of total time used for productive activities, and also we also identifying that the women still have some room to be more involved in the household dairy farming sector. So that's good news for us because we want to introduce new activities, processing the milk. So the woman has the time, extra time, and also the woman has some control for their own time. So that's give us opportunity to introduce additional activities. Overall, the valley score more than 0.8. So we conclude that there is the woman in Pacitan in Tegalombo has some independency. So they are empowered in the dairy farming business. And with this, we also show that the independency, the empowerment has positive impact on the productivity, on the production of the milk, and also the income. So with this statistic, the very high independency and also positive impact of the independency and the empowerment on the productivity and the production, then we introduce the activities, to increase the activities of the farmers, to have healthy farming activities, and also they can produce organic fertilizer to add the income. So this done by the father, okay, mostly for the father. And then for the mother, we introduce how to process the milk. So instead of only sending the milk to PT Das for Nestle, the extra production, we ask them to to process, and then we check in the laboratorium here in the UGM and in the Faculty of Animal Science. It turned out that they are healthy and they have a very high protein. So we ask the mother 2 minutes to produce this bottle milk. Okay. So once they finish, and then we teach them how to sell the product. So we join the expo in the city, in the region, and then ask the mother to sell the milk and also the organic fertilizer. So we are happy with that, and the mother also happy. So even we ask them to, take a note for the sales and also the production and so on. Actually, we also introduced the program to Nestle, and they don't mind with that because the production of milk is really high. But with the pandemic, so we have to slow down a little bit with the activities because the marketing is really hard during this pandemic. So that's our action research actually, how to increase the woman role in the economy of the farmer, and also how to introduce the zero waste activity, zero waste economy, so that we have better environment with the farming. Okay, thank you. I'll return the stage to Mas Adiwan.
Okay, thank you, Pak Catur. I think it's another interesting presentation from Pak Catur. So I would like to invite participants to ask questions or maybe discussions for Pak Catur.
There is one question in the chat from Pak Wimpy. Wimpy. Yeah.
Yep. So what is your policy recommendation, Pak Catur? So you could ask you can answer that, Pak Catur.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Pak Wemby Julian. We work together with the the Regency of Pacitan, and we asked them not to give free money to the farmers actually. So we asked them to work with the bank so that the farmer can expand the buy more cows, but with credit. If this is cheap credit, okay. But with the credit, they have to really manage the farming so that they can return the money. So that's the first. The second, of course, the problem of marketing milk is really have to be helped by the Pak Bupati and also the office. So what we plan to do is, see every Friday during the regular time, the Kabupaten has the exercise activities, right? Senam, right? So we try to approach the office. Why not provide milk for those ASN pegawai negeri to buy milk from the farmers. Okay, see, for example, every Friday there are hundreds bottles that it can be bought by the officer. Then that also help to the farmers. We found also that the Office of Cooperative and a small scale industry has the outlet for the local product. So we asked them a space and also refrigerator, so that this mother can send the milk, the bottle, and put in the refrigerator, so that consumer can pick up and buy milk from the locals. So that's our plan. Even we still have another plan to ask the vocational school SMK. There's this SMK over there in Pacitan, and we plan to teach them to do online marketing for the milk. Okay, but the problem is that we know that milk is perishable, so we still have a problem how to produce milk that is tahan lama. You can send it to Jakarta or to Jogja because with online, so that the marketing will be wider. But we still have problem with the perishability of the product. So that's our next plan. Hopefully will be implemented next year, this year or next year, Pak Julie, Pak WMP. Thank you. For the question, Pak Ediwan.
So there's another question from Pak WMP. I think it's a follow-up. So
yeah, the question is whether is it sustain but PP is break even, right? Okay. Yeah, for the farming itself, yes, it's profitable, and the local BNI bank brands approach them to have some credit, so it's really a good thing. We haven't really calculated the break-even point for the milk production actually. So it just in the beginning ask the mother to. That's why we asked the mother to really take a note of how much they produce and also how much the revenue. So wait for another 2 or 3 months after the pandemic so that you can have more better notes, Pak Wimpi. But yeah, they are happy with the activity. Hopefully we can sell to the wider consumer after the pandemic.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Catur. So maybe other follow-up question, Pak WMP, or maybe other participants? No? Okay. Yes.
Pak Dion, can I follow with orally?
Yes, silakan Pak WMP.
Pak Catur, I suggest that it is important to have to know the break-even point, because we have to think about scale of production. I am doubt that this is small a scale of production that maybe will not sustain in the long term. So we must sure with the scale of production what the quantity that that the farmer should produce, and so they can have this program in the long term, not just to make some try and error, something like that. Thank you.
Yeah, Thank you, Pak Wimpi. Yes, we will be very careful with that because we have a big activities like the whole, the whole zero waste economy. So that's why in the beginning we asked the farmer group, I mean the mother, to really take a note of the activities. So, for example, at the beginning we ask them every house contribute only 1 liter of milk to the process. Okay, so we collect 12 house. We have 12 liters at the start, and then processing. So we start with a small, and then we have to be careful. That's right, Pak Wimbi, so that once we run the business, then we have to be thinking about profit, thinking about the sustainability of the activities. Otherwise, the whole program will break down. Yeah, that's right. Because we also because we have other program like producing gas and producing fertilizer as well. So if one support from the mother fail, then maybe the whole program will be in danger. So yes, we will be very careful with this. And also thanks to the PDUPT because they give us 3 years period. Okay, hopefully in these 3 years we have some time to do evaluation very carefully, so that we also connected with other institutions as well, so that there is a time to really think carefully with the program. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Catur, for the discussion together with Pak Wempi also. So I would like to invite maybe one more question from the participants. Okay. So I think
there's one other
yeah.
suggestion. I think that's a very nice suggestion from Pak Wempi.
Yes.
Well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why not combine with edu agritourism? Yes, we are going there in that direction as well. So thanks. Thank you, Pak Wempi. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Wempi, I think, for the recommendation also.
Yeah.
Okay, if there's no more question, I would like to invite the participants to have a big applause for Pak Catur for his 2 presentations. Thank you very much, Pak Catur.
Thank you.
I think there's no more speaker for this session, so I would like to thank Pak Catur for your both presentations, and also participants and the whole committee, including Mbak Aning also. So thank you very much. We will see each other again maybe in other sessions. Thank you.